Welcome to the Scream Queens Horror Movie Road Trip Podcast. Oh!
It's Halloween time!
Oh, yes! Welcome to our bonus Halloween episode.
It's a big bonus.
It's episode 21. Our show is fully legal. You can now drink. And
We about to get drunk.
welcome to our 21st episode. And what are we doing today, Miss Justine?
We're gonna cover undercover, overcover,
Side cover.
Sleepy Hollow.
Ooh, the 1999 Tim Burton film.
What? That one?
Film. It's a film.
I thought we were going to discuss Washington Irving's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Well, that too. He wrote the damn book, for crying out loud. And where are we heading today?
We're going to Bixby, Oklahoma.
To go to Washington Irving Park, where there's like a little tribute memorial statue to him.
Yeah.
Because weirdly, even though, he was a New York native, famous for his writings, especially Sleepy Hollow, but he did some adventuring down here in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
I guess.
He hitched a ride with some peeps and saw the sights.
Met some Native Americans, did some buffalo hunting down here. So apparently he's good enough. We tried to claim him a little bit just because of that.
We put up a monument for him.
So we're like, hey, it's Halloween. Sleepy Hollow's like the American classic Halloween story.
Oh my, classic.
Classic.
It's a classic.
It's classic.
It's classical.
It's classic, damn it. So we're going to Bixby, which is a few hours away from where we live.
Yeah.
Just to see this memorial.
Just to see. We've never seen it before.
And to talk
so
to you
why
guys
not?
about Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, Sleepy Hollow.
It's about this hollow that's really sleepy.
It's a little tired.
It's
yeah.
tired.
Yeah.
You gotta really wake them up in the morning.
It's been a little sleep deprived, and it's also empty.
The empty sleep deprived just didn't have the same tone, so he went with the title Sleepy Hollow instead. That's
my
a little
gosh.
history of the title there.
Yes. Can you imagine Washington Irving? It's like, I don't know, he's like 1750s or whatever. No, 1850s. He's just sitting there writing away thinking like, yes, the hollow, the empty, sleep deprived.
Empty chasm that is very tired.
Oh man,
Anyway,
he's a much better writer than we were.
We are gonna,
Talk about the movie now.
let's cut the head off this bitch.
Yeah, I guess first, let's roll out the red carpet on the casting here, Timbo.
Ooh, yeah, we get a glimpse of a lot of cool people. I mean, of course, it stars Johnny Depp,
Yes.
playing who classically was an ugly character all through, the book. He's described as being very unattractive. Almost every representation of him in movies before.
He looks fugly, guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it.
So naturally, Tim Burton hires Johnny Depp.
Yes, because when you it's synonymous, it's like fugly Johnny Depp. I'm always thinking fugly Johnny Depp.
I always remember thinking that was a strange choice, but he wanted to, from what I've heard, Tim Burton wanted to bring out the bad qualities of Ichabod through, his mannerisms and his personality.
Yes.
Such as him being very sheepish and, cowardly at times. If
I'm
you
just
will.
like listening to you. Yeah, so he plays Ichabod Crane.
Mm-hmm.
And
We get Miss Christina Ricci.
yes.
We get a small glimpse of Christopher Lee.
Mm-hmm.
The classic. Another classic.
Another classic. Christopher Lee. And Martin Landau.
Yes, let's just jump in with that.
Yeah.
That's
And
kinda how the
Christopher
movie-
Walken. We'll mention that before.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, and a lot of British actors. So
Yeah, a lot of
there you
people
go.
you've seen
Jeffrey
and-
Jones, who Tim Burton puts in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
So
Is he like the weird, creepy, like child rapist? One of like the Tim. Okay, anyways, keep going.
Yeah, hold on. No, we're gonna just.
I just know there's like a creepy Tim Burton regular that had some shit go down a few years ago, and now
he's
every
the
time.
dad in Beetlejuice.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
He's
Wow.
like a creep in real life, I guess.
Oh no.
I hope I'm not slandering the poor man, but I was 100% positive that's true.
It's his downfall. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We'll start with though the opening credits, which is like a document being signed, and
Yeah. So you're seeing like the official stamp put on the wax seal.
The seal of somebody's house. It's like I forget. Is it the Van Garrett seal?
I think it's the Garretts.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's the name being signed at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Okay, so the Van Garrett thing seal, and then the next part of the opening is it's like a stagecoach that's going through the foresty, roaded area.
It's foggy. It looks like
Yes.
it's creepy. It's Martin
creepy.
Landau.
There's like a scarecrow.
Yeah, Martin Landau sitting alone, going through the countryside at night. There's a creepy scarecrow with his arms raised and, scary pumpkin grin.
Yeah, because he's scaring some crows, bitches.
He's scaring them away.
And there's all this, he feels like a disturbance happened and the carriage kind of jostles.
He's like, what is this? I'm going to stick my head out and look.
Let me pick my wicked head out.
My wicked head. My powdered wicked.
He looks out, and the driver of the stagecoach, he's still driving it, but he lacks
a head. Homeboy's headless.
I don't know, maybe a tree branch.
So Martin Landau naturally is like, well, shit, I'm jumping out of this stagecoach.
Yeah, like I've got to go because those horses is gonna be crazy.
He's like, and then for an old man, he gets up pretty quick.
He does. He's a spring chicken. Like
I thought, oh my god, if I fell out of that, I'd be down on that ground for a while, like fuck my legs, my back.
Yeah.
But Martin Landau's a spry.
My legs, my back,
my pussy, and my crack.
Even that's my neck, my back. I don't know why. Okay.
Anyways.
Okay, yeah. So,
but the scene's really cool. Martin Landau takes off through the cornfield. He stops at, the scarecrow scares him.
Yes, and Martin Landau's character is Peter Van Garrett.
Yes.
And I just wanted to make sure we mention, because there's we got to make sure we mention the
names in this movie.
Stuff,
it's a little bogged down by names.
Yeah, we're trying to take it and condense it, but we also want to give you a fair shake. A fair shake, yeah. Leave it there. Okay.
Fair representation.
So he's running through the forest, and he even runs into that scarecrow.
It's a cornfield.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sweetie.
A cornfield. Well, it is a cornfield, but yes, you're right. Let's go.
Bad.
He's running.
Yeah, he's running. He gets scared by the scarecrow, and he stops, and he looks around, and he stops just long enough to whack his head be rolling.
they see me rolling.
They hate it.
But the thing is that he takes the head. The headless horseman,
yes.
The rider of the, we see him just take the head and go off, and we're like, oh shit!
He took that head.
Next we are introduced to Ichabod.
Yeah, it says like New York, 1799, and Ichabod's in court. He's a constable, and
Yes.
Christopher Lee is presiding in his powdered wig, and he's like, hey, dude, you're doing all this weird stuff, cutting bodies up, trying to be all scientific and such.
And we don't appreciate it.
We don't like it here, so we're going to send
God
you...
for fear in America.
We're going to send you to the empty, sleepy town.
The empty, tired town.
The empty, tired town of Sleepy Hollow.
Because we need you to solve what's going on. There's
a mystery!
Yeah, he's like, there's 3 people that have died, even though we were laughing earlier because there's 4. No one seems to care about the actual, driver of the stagecoach.
Yeah, I'm
He's
sure
just,
he had a family.
That very town.
And he had a life.
Yeah, I'm sure now he has, a wife and children that are destitute, but they pay them no mind.
No.
He's just,
That's all he was to them, was just a stagecoach driver.
It's bullshit, guys.
Guys.
Hashtag stagecoach driver support.
Hashtag stagecoach driver army.
Strong. Stagecoach driver.
Stagecoach strong.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right.
We're done making fun of hashtags for the
Hashtag
moment. Okay, so the people, there's also 2 other people that have died that we don't see. We don't see the deaths happen.
And it would have been pretty cool if we had.
Yeah, I guess there might have been like the movie's. How long is it? Like
close
hour
to 45.
Yeah,
like
so
that.
maybe they were just like, we don't have the time or money to throw in those 2 others, but they would have been good. And it adds to the story a lot. But it's the Van Garrett's son, and then this Widow Winship that we'll hear a lot about. The Widow Winship.
The Widow Winship.
The Widow Winship. So he's got to go to empty time.
See, we sing
Tired,
names and
empty.
stuff to you guys. It's almost like, if we sing it, you'll remember it.
Yeah.
So, Widow Winship.
Isn't that? I feel like there's science behind that. Like if it's sung, then
you'll remember.
You'll remember it. So we're actually doing a service.
Yeah.
Twice over because 1, we're breaking down Sleepy Hollow ridiculously, and then 2, we're singing it in a therapeutic and fun way.
Yeah. To help you.
Yeah.
We're
here for you.
It's for your comprehension.
Listen to my voice.
Listen. Fall asleep.
Listen to my voice.
Oh shit, Tangina.
Tangina. God, she just pops up out of nowhere.
No, wait, Tangina, not now.
Not now. Okay, I'll come back later. Okay, so he goes to the town, and naturally he shows up, and there's a party at the place that he's staying.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I arrived on a good night.
Yeah, and can you imagine? It was just like a Thursday evening.
He walks in, and there's Christina Ricci with her blonde wig going, Pickety witch, Pickety witch.
Who's got a kiss
for the Pickety witch?
That's fine. All these men are circled around
they're like,
her.
oh baby, I'll be the Pickety
and
witch.
they're like, give me some of them sugar lips and sugar tits.
I'll pick your witch. If
Oh
you know
hell
what I mean.
yeah, Pickety. It's really not. It's like young boys that are just like, oh my god, I could get a kiss for the first time, and are suitor, but we are turning it into perverts.
Well, she does go. She grabs fucking Ichabod by the face
Yeah,
and lays one on him.
Walks into the circle because I guess he doesn't have eyes, so he doesn't see what the fuck's going on.
He's like, hello.
In.
Oh.
He's like, oh, I just walked into a party. Damn. Yeah, he walks in the way, and she ends up kissing him, and that of course really pisses off this guy. You can see behind Ichabod, just Casper Van Dien plays him.
Brombones.
And we'll find out that it's Brum, but he's just looking at him, giving him side eye.
He's like, who's this?
Oh hell no! You walk in and get a kiss.
Yeah.
From the Pickety witch.
He's like, who you be?
Who you be, bitch?
And Ichabod's like, I didn't say.
Yeah, I haven't even introduced myself
and he's
yet.
like, you rude. You're rude.
You're already coming in here.
Being rude, Ichabod.
Being rude at me.
You haven't told me your name, but Ichabod, you're rude.
Yeah, man. So he's like, I need to see Baltus Van Tassel.
Because I am the constable.
Yes.
Ichabod Crane.
And she's like, well, bitch, I'm Katrina. I'm his daughter, and let me take you to him and shake my ass on the way down the hall. And she's already making eyes at him. She's like, oh,
she's making
Ichabod.
eyes. She's making eyes, talking in an awkward early American accent.
Yeah, I'm like, guys, come on. They just think, it's just so funny sometimes. It's like, I think they would have had maybe even lazier British accents at that point in history, but
It's like full on.
It's
Brit.
like, we're just Americans speaking American. Okay, and so she takes Ichabod into another room, like a study, and in there are all of her dad's friends and her dad.
They're hanging out.
And they just happen to be all the important people in Tired, Empty.
Yeah. It's all the people that need to be there that are there. He's like, man, first I walk into a party.
The ugliest white men you've ever seen in wigs, and they're fat and
a bunch of fat, ugly white dudes.
Yeah, making decisions for the whole town as usual. Here in America. Okay.
America.
So, there's a group of elders of the town they're like all too quick to tell Ichabod exactly what's going on. You know, he comes in, he's like, I'm here to bring the latest advances in technology to your town, and we're going to figure out who murdered all these people. And they're like, slow your roll, bitch.
No.
Yeah, break
It's
it down,
a
Josh.
ghost. This be Sleepy Hollow. It be a man with no head that's making us follow. No, sorry, I can't rap.
I threw it over to you too. I was like, and go.
And I was like, oh shit, I can't go.
Hashtag Josh needs skills. Okay, so Ichabod, yeah, he tells them all that, and they're like, no, it's actually, just FYI, it's actually a headless horseman who died during the American Revolution. He was a Hessian soldier,
and he was
hired by the British Army.
Played by Christopher Walken.
And he was played by Christopher Walken with a really bad, like, dental, like, prosthetic, like, that's the one thing of the movie. His teeth always look fake.
Well, they talk about how he filed his teeth down.
Yeah, he has some
crazy,
like, gnasher
shark
teeth.
mouth.
Yeah. So obviously to be scary or whatever. So he plays, or Christopher Walken plays the Headless Horseman.
Yeah.
But obviously when he has a head, not when he doesn't.
Yeah. So
CGI
he got killed. There's a little girl in the forest kind of gave him away. He was hiding.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Baltus tells the story of how the horseman got his head cut off.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, there's like, he gets buried near Sleepy Hollow, is the thing. So he died.
Sword in the ground.
Yeah, he died pretty close to the town, and they just think that he's kind of like a ghost that comes and gets heads, and
a ghost that comes and gets heads.
Well, a headless horseman that comes and gets heads for no rhyme or reason. Like, they're trying to claim that there's no motive behind it other than that's just what happens. The headless horseman comes to town and takes your head sometimes. Okay. So now, and of course Ichabod's like, bitch, that's BS.
Yeah.
I know for sure.
I don't believe you. I'm gonna prove you wrong, small town folk.
Yeah. And then the next scene is a man that's hiding in kind of like a watch. It's not a tower, but it's like a little fort that's built to watch the town at night. Like a little militiaman up there. And his name, we only know his name to be Mazbeth or whatever.
Ichabod spied him earlier when he was coming to town. He saw him talking to his son and like preparing to go up into the little tower.
Yeah.
To watch out for the night. He's like the night
watchman. So of course
watchman.
he's like, before we had like when you were drunk and you needed like a sober buddy to come and get you, he was like the sober guy that hung out in the watchtower while everybody was getting like hammered.
It's cool, guys. I won't sleep tonight.
I'll just watch out while there's somebody who could murder us. Be out there.
I'll make sure we cool.
Okay, so, but shit goes down right now.
Yes.
Yes.
He's looking out, and there's like some smoky fog that comes out like hands and grabs the lights and turns them off.
Some smoky fog.
Some smoky fog.
I'm laughing over here. That was funny. And then he's got some smoky fog.
Yeah, this fog comes out, and it comes out almost like a hand, and turns
from
out all the torches, and then you see all these deer run out of the forest all at once, and you're like, oh, what else is gonna
automatically, shit gonna be going down.
Mm-hmm.
And he's on alert too. Like he
oh.
realizes, like, okay, what's going on? This is creepy. And then
it cuts to like a faraway scene of the town, and you hear the gunshot go off, like he shot the Headless Horseman. You hear the horse like, nah!
Oh my god, that was the best horse sound I've ever. It was a little goatish almost. But maybe that was like what you heard growing up. That was the horse sound you heard.
That's horses. That's what they sound like.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
So you hear that, but then when it cuts back, you see that guy running. What's his name? You see him running.
You see that guy and he's running.
Yeah, and then he gets his head chopped off.
Yes, yeah.
There's a lot of awesome head loppings.
And Tim Burton really wanted, like, that was a visual he wanted you to see, and he wanted you to see heads spinning on
there's some great ones. There's one, my favorite's coming up in a little bit.
Yeah, but that was one of those. He definitely liked the idea of like decapitating and what you get to see. Okay, so he gets his head cut off in the forest, and so Ichabod and all the guys, all the elders or whatever, they go out in the forest. Ichabod's like, I'm going to show you guys how I can figure this out. He brings all of his like gadgets and stuff, and he
they poke around a little bit.
Deduces that the wound on Masbeth has already been cauterized.
Oh, it has?
Yes, it's already been cauterized, and like the moment that the sword cut the head off, it burned it, so there wasn't like blood everywhere.
He's from hell, his sword is made of fire.
Yeah, that's the, like, what's the guy, he's Batman's,
Albert?
Yeah, Albert. What's his name though? Michael Goff or whatever is like Albert. He's in the movie, but he doesn't. Yeah. He's like the notary or whatever. But he's over there like talking about he's with the hounds of hell. But so he uses some of his magic science stuff and and deduces that. Oh yeah, and he's also like, "Where's the head?" And they're like, "No, you don't. Like, we never find the heads. The heads are taken." And then next is your fun part.
The fun part?
Yeah, Ichabod and the magistrate.
Oh yeah, he sees him trying to sneak out of town when he comes back, Ichabod.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Hey, hold up!" And they're in this really cool like hayfield, and there's another creepy scarecrow. And I'm setting the mood here.
Yeah, you go right ahead.
The fog rolls in while they're talking. He's like, I'm getting out of here. I have this talisman to protect me tonight. I'm cool. I'm getting out of here before I get killed by the Headless Horseman. And Johnny Depp's like, no, what? Why are you going in the middle of the night? That's my question, too. Why are you leaving right now?
And he lets Ichabod know that he's actually privy to some information.
Yeah, he's like, there were more than, 3 deaths. There were 4 that... The girl was preggo, hint, hint.
Yeah, he's dropping the hint that she was preggo, and he's like, and like, it kind of all has to do with that, and I'm not going to say any more, like, I'm not going to name names, but like, there were people involved, and it seems like we're all going, like, all of us are dying off, so I'm getting out of town. Well, guess what?
Guess who arrives? You see, like, lightning, you start hearing the winds rising. Everything starts getting very creepy, little by little, and then it builds to the Headless Horseman coming out, and then Johnny Depp freaks out. He's like, oh no, he's gonna kill me!
Yeah, I mean, imagine if it's the first time that you've ever seen the Headless Horseman, and...
He comes out, and he whacks the head off of the magistrate, and this head spins. It does the best spin, I think, in the movie. And then he
spins on its top, flops off.
The head rolls down in between Ichabod's crotch.
Yes.
And the Headless Horseman comes by, and this, again, Ichabod's like, my head! Oh no, what's gonna happen to me? And then he just comes by and picks up the head with his sword. You think he's gonna get him right in the dick.
Yeah, you're like, oh my god, Ichabod's already gonna be a goner and his dick's gonna be cut off. But that doesn't happen. Instead, he just like...
takes the head. And so Ichabod's like, all these, they are taking the heads.
Yeah. Yeah, they are taking the heads.
I saw it. He did it right in between my legs.
But he like passes out because he's like a bitch.
Yeah.
So next scene he comes to. He's like in his bed.
Yeah, he's upstairs all like cuddled up like there was a Headless Horseman. He was headless. I saw him.
Yeah, and they're like, no, we believe you, or we know. And he's like, no, you don't know. You weren't there. But
it's real.
No, it's real.
I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah, we were telling you that already, you turd. You turd, bitch. Okay, but then the next thing that happens is that, we need to talk about some witchcraft stuff.
Oh, he goes through the woods with the little boy. He ends up taking in the little boy that, his father died in the woods. The man that kept watch. The little boy comes to him and is like, I have nobody. I can be really good help. I'm not scared of this
I want to catch this Headless Horseman.
Yeah, I want to get him.
And the boy...
He killed my pappy.
The boy, it seems, is like... He also thinks... He does think it's probably the Headless Horseman, but the boy's also attuned to, like... I think that there's somebody else controlling it, and I want to help you find the bad guy. And So they...
It's like, when we put our heads together, we can figure anything out.
Because we're the best of friends. And Mazbeth is like, there's this witch in the woods. You know, like,
yeah, let's
so
go find
we
her.
should go and find her. They do.
And it has a really awesome jump scare coming up.
Yeah. So they find her and...
Boo!
You didn't scare me! And she's like, here, let me get myself in some shackles because I'm going to take this concoction.
She's like, things are about to get crazy, okay? I got to chain myself up.
I'm about to get white girl wasted on you.
And you don't even see her face. She's completely covered in like a veil, and she's
Yeah.
very dirty and creepy.
She's like, come on in.
Yeah, and she's talking with a soft voice. It's very strange.
Putting you to sleep. And she puts herself in some shackles. Obviously, we get that she's restraining herself because maybe what she's taking is going to make her act violent or whatever, but we also don't know.
Yeah.
And so Ichabod's sitting there waiting for her
Yeah, and
to
Ichabod
say
doesn't know.
something.
Yeah.
And she, like, her head pops up, her eye sockets pop out, a snake pops out of her mouth.
Yeah.
And
she's skeleton face.
Yeah, she's skeleton face. Like, her skin's gone. She is very gaunt, you know, looking, and she's reaching for him.
She knocks him to the ground.
Yeah, he's fallen off like the bench that he was sitting in.
Her sharp razor claws.
Yeah, she looks really...
Yeah, she's a little scary. I'm trying not to be judgmental.
I mean, beauty is beauty. It's all in the eye of the beholder.
She's gonna find someone that loves her.
Yeah, she's gonna be someone, I promise.
Yeah.
And but in this moment, she delivers some information. She's like, the Headless Horseman who comes at night, he lives deeper in the forest, and you'll have to find this like dead tree. And he's good, and it's controlled by somebody. You'll have to figure it out or whatever. And then she's like, passes out.
I could tell you everything, but I'm not.
Yeah, she's like, I would like to be vague, and I would.
She's like, the movie has to keep moving.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little cryptic right now. So they're like, okay. When they walk out, then out pops Christina Ricci.
Yeah, she's like, hey, can I come with you guys? And they're like, yeah.
I really want your dick, Johnny.
Yeah. Or she's like, Johnny, I would really like your cock. That's what she says in her British accent.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I love you, Christina Ricci. She's one of my favorites, but this is
it was
something
almost
about
like
it.
she refused to practice.
Something's a little awkward about her performance. A little wooden.
Uh-huh.
And maybe that's what she was going for, like this, you know, very aristocratic.
Yeah, but small town.
Yeah,
girl.
I don't know, but whatever.
She's also warm and kind, and I don't.
There's good qualities about it too, but there's something awkward. That's the word I'm using. There's something awkward, and it all comes from, to me, like the accent and whatnot.
Okay.
Anyways.
Accent.
So they make it to the tree, and Johnny Depp's like, I'm going to start hacking away at this.
Yeah, he sees like a bit of blood on the tree.
And so he takes a hatchet, and he starts cutting through, and it's awesome. It starts spurting blood on his face.
Yeah, it's like he might be like beating through some mommy issues. You're not quite sure. He is just like going at it.
And the bark of the tree and the wood of the tree almost starts to look like cartilage or bone.
Yes.
It starts looking just very gnarly, and
blood's everywhere, all over him.
And he cuts through deeper and deeper until all these heads roll out.
Heads will roll.
Heads roll.
Heads will roll.
On the floor. Or out of a tree in Sleepy Hollow.
In front of your feet.
But they deduce.
Oh, they find the heads. And they're like, well, I guess we know where the heads are being stored. And then he's like, oh, here's the grave, and his head is gone.
The Headless Horseman's head is gone. And in the earlier flashback, you saw that his head was buried with him.
Yes. So, guys, we've got a problem.
Something's up. Something's got to do with something.
Got to do with something. That's all I'm saying. Podcast done. Bye.
No. She's just kidding.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, because we're not even close. So we get back. Okay. Whoa. We get to see something awesome. The heads start moving.
Yeah.
And the tree almost starts quivering.
I know what you're getting
to.
This is the part where the Headless Horseman jumps out of the tree.
Full on jumps out of the tree trunk.
On a horse.
On a horse, and the horse is, like, pretty big.
So, hey, back up. Technically, the horse is jumping, not the headless horseman.
Yeah, or the headless horseman, you don't know, maybe in that tree, he
was kind of
jumped onto the horse.
Maybe he was kind of cantering and, like, jumping while he was on the horse, and then the horse jumped, too.
What have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think...
We could go through this all day.
Yeah, or we should just keep going forward. So, the horseman has been, like, called... Yeah, he's been, like, called from the hell or whatever, and so... He goes out of the tree trunk, and they're all like, what the fuck? WTF?
DTF.
No. I mean, for Johnny...
Oh, not
Johnny Depp. Maybe for Johnny Depp, but... and then we have another fun, cool scene that's full of killing that happens. The Headless Horseman heads back into town, and he...
Oh, this is where it gets juicy.
He arrives at a house, and outside it says that the people inside, there's a midwife.
Yes, and we saw their characters earlier. The dad was, like, working at the livery, giving his horse to Johnny Depp and telling him some stuff.
Yeah.
And so now, him helping Johnny Depp maybe has come back to haunt him. Or no, I think it's because the midwife, Mama.
Yeah, no, I mean,
we'll find out later.
But we don't know all these things yet. So all we know is that the Headless Horseman comes back into town, and he goes in and he takes out the midwife's husband, the midwife, and she tries to hide her son under the floorboard.
It is a really intense scene, like just how everything's done. She has that little lamp going around that's giving off the light.
Yeah, the lamp has all of those like scary, like a cat and a moon and all kinds of like an octopus, and it's like revolving around the room. A little night light for the kiddo.
Dad's fighting in the other room with the Headless Horseman. She's hiding the son under the baseboards and tells him, to be quiet.
Yeah.
And
that's all the time she has. I mean, she gets him under the floorboard, and then the horseman comes into the room and he lops her head off.
Yeah. And then he's trying to find the little kid under the baseboards. He
almost leaves. The kid almost lives. And then...
You get that moment of, phew, the kid's safe.
He comes back,
no,
rips up the floorboard, pulls him up, and then cut to Brom. Like, we don't see the child dying, but then... kid killing.
Kid killers. We haven't had a kid killing
in a while.
Or we have and we ignored it.
Yeah, we haven't brought it up.
We're referring to the first few episodes of our podcast, like 1 through 4.
And stuff.
Pumpkinhead.
But and it shows him stuffing another head in the bag as the horseman is walking back out of the house. And Brom is, I guess, also... He's got a gun, so I think he's keeping secure, he's keeping watch of the town. He sees the horseman, and he, wants to do battle with him. He's like, I'm gonna take you out, horseman.
Johnny Depp's like, no.
And earlier, Brom had dressed up like the horseman.
Yeah, and scared Johnny Depp. That's a really fun scene, because you're led to believe at first that it is really the Headless Horseman. Then you find out it's just a prank, but it has that really cool shot where he throws the jack-o'-lantern that is aflame at
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. It has that cool shot going towards the camera that's very reminiscent of the Disney movie.
Yes.
And there's a few little Disney references in this
along
movie.
The way in the movie, yeah.
As you guys might know, Tim Burton worked for Disney at one point, and he's also was a big fan of that cartoon.
Wanted to pay homage a few times and keep to the playfulness of the Disney little movie. Okay, so Ichabod comes in, and he's deduced that somebody took the head of the Headless Horseman, and that the horseman must be doing the bidding of that person. And so he's trying to run up to Brom and say, no, the horseman doesn't even want to fight you. Because Brom's antagonizing the horseman. And the horseman's almost just defending himself as he's, leaving. And so Ichabod's like, look, he's not even going after you. He doesn't want you. And Brom's like, no, I'm going to take him out. Well, that doesn't work. And he ends up getting sliced in half.
Yeah, he sneaks up behind him. He goes over the bridge and jumps down behind them.
That's a cool
and he
shot.
Stabs
Ichabod.
Johnny Depp, Ichabod in the shoulder and throws him across the room.
Skewer, and then throws him over his shoulder.
And then he goes after Brom and ends up cutting him in half essentially after a cool like fight with like two sides.
You see a little bit of disembowelment happen, and it's
a lot of like getting cut in half, heads falling off in this movie, which is a lot of fun.
I love that the blood, like the color that's used in the movie, the blood is so red, and then it's moody, and there's a lot of grays and dark blues, and
it's very blue and gray and steel, like gray,
yeah, and there's a lot of so it's like hazy in the colors,
very
and then
fall.
Whenever the blood happens, it's
autumnal.
Very like vibrant. It almost is like Argento-esque is what it gives me, these feels of the blood and everything.
Not me.
Oh, not you. You whatever.
No.
I mean, it totally does. Okay, so but he dies. Yeah. And then Ichabod has to recover from his wound, but it's not that bad because, again, the horseman's sword is hot. So it cauterizes the wound and everything. So he heals up pretty quick, and he starts to see this conspiracy brewing. He goes to the notary, and the notary gives him, well, not really gives him, he finds it, but he finds the will.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, family intertwining right here. We're finding out that there's probably a big conspiracy going on in town
between the Van Garretts and the Van Tassels, and
their family lines go in and out, and there's like lots of money,
and there's a secret marriage that has happened, and that there's and then there was a pregnancy. That the 4 bodies and 3 graves is a reference to the widow Winship being pregnant. And so now it's coming to a head. Like, everybody who's involved in that conspiracy is being killed. And, Ichabod happens to think that it's Baltus.
So he follows him around. He sees him fucking...
No, that's
what's her name?
No, Baltus is Katrina's dad. So, hold on.
Right.
So... then the next thing is we see Jeffrey Jones in the woods with Lady Van Tassel.
Okay, that's what I was trying to say, That's who. And she's getting it on with someone that ain't her husband.
Yes.
And she's cutting her hand up while she does it.
Yeah, almost like in a ritual or something.
You get there's some like witchery going on.
Yeah, and Ichabod sees this because he's like always in the woods, always trying to find.
And he knows about witchcraft because his mother was like a small town little witch. You see all these little references and flashbacks of his mother as a child and her getting oppressed by her preacher husband.
His dad.
Ichabod's daddy.
Yeah, and so I guess like Ichabod's dad killed his mom because she was a witch, and so there's a lot of flashbacks to witchcraft, and so when he sees Lady Van Tassel,
he knows what's up.
He knows what's up, and he goes back to his room. He finds this eye under his
the evil
bed.
eye.
It's an eye drawn with chalk on the. They call it the evil eye.
He thinks Katrina did it, but she's innocent. Damn it.
And the next morning, he goes into the kitchen and he sees Lady Van Tassel, and she's like, she's talking to him, and she's like trying to show her wound to him, but he won't pay any mind to it.
I was in a Van Tassel last night and got my hand cut off.
I was in a Van Tassel. You funny. Yeah, and so she's like, you haven't pointed out my wound, bitch. Aren't you? You're just rude. You is just rude as fuck. And he's like, bitch, I'm not trying to be rude. I mean, these are verbatim the words that were used. That's a script that I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I cut it. You saw me. No, you saw me in the woods. You know what? But then when her husband comes in and he sees the wound, she's like, oh, I cut it doing some shit. And he's like, oh, that's bad.
So you know she's shady.
And she's like, oh, I'm gonna put some herbs on it later. And then cut to, she's putting some herbs on it. And Baltus, her husband, walks by and he's like, come on, we're all going to the church and we're going to talk about what we're going to do about the Headless Horseman. And also, I think that Ichabod might think that I'm a bad guy.
And then while we're at the church, like, guess who shows up? They provoke him and he comes running and like so many people die in that church. And then you're like, oh my God, Katrina, where are you? And then like, Johnny Depp gets stabbed, and you're like, oh my God, Johnny Depp's gonna die, and like all this shit goes down.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit that goes down in the church, And a lot of people die. Katrina's dad dies. He dies, but he runs in and says that he thinks that he saw his wife being killed. And
they're like, okay, Dad, we believe you.
The Reverend dies, and the Headless Horseman takes his heads.
Yeah,
and
people are getting chopped up left and right.
Other
Heads
people
flying.
it's just like causing chaos in this church. All the windows are being bashed out, and guns are being shot off, and there's like Katrina on the floor drawing an evil what we think is an evil eye. And then cut to everybody's like, fine, Ichabod, everybody's dead now, you came to town and you didn't fix anything, go home. Katrina's lost her whole family now. And then Katrina is sleeping in a chair, and Ichabod is leaving town.
She's like, don't go.
And he's like, no, I'm gonna go.
Ichabod, no.
Ichabod,
I didn't cry for Brom, but
I'll cry for you. Take this book.
Yes, it'll protect you.
Yeah, it'll protect you. It's a book of spells. And he gets in a stagecoach, and she goes to take a nap. And it's almost at the same time, like these scenes are happening side by side. I'm not like visually side by side.
Parallel editing.
Yeah, parallel editing. Thanks, you're just not bothering to jump in. And the Lady Van Tassel pops up again, and we're like, what? I thought you were dead.
You dead, girl. You back
She's
from...
like, no, I'm not dead. And at the same time, he's figuring everything out in the stagecoach because he happens to see the bodies, because the bodies are just out for everybody to see in the town, you know, like this hand falls out and he sees what looks like the Lady Van Tassel's hand all cut up, but it's not.
He's like, no, that doesn't have a cut in it.
Yeah,
it
it's not bleeding afterwards. It looks like somebody cut this hand after the person was already dead. And
he's like, I'm going back.
I'm going back. And so
Lady Van Tassel.
It's Lady Van Tassel, but we gotta call her Lady Van Tassel.
She's grabbed her by the hair, saying, "Come on, come get her, Mr. Man."
Mr. Man. Lady Van Tassel.
Mr. Headless Horseman.
She tells Katrina all about how it's her controlling the horsemen, and she wants revenge on all the families in Sleepy Hollow, or Tired Empty, because of what they had done to her family long ago. And Katrina's like, oh, okay, bitch. And then they have this big showdown.
Yeah, they're like
the horseman
fighting.
comes.
Is this when they're on the
windmill?
The windmill, and it
Yeah.
like catches on fire, and they're like having to shimmy down it. Things are like firing everywhere.
The horseman's after them. They're
it's a really
they
intense
climb up
scene.
the windmill, and then they have to jump on the windmill and then
go
go
down the
it.
windmill.
And then the windmill explodes.
There's fire and explosions.
And then they're on a stagecoach, and there's
stagecoach ride from hell.
Yeah, the horseman's still after them. Katrina, Masbeth, and Ichabod Crane are like
all trying to get away. They're like, come on.
And the horseman is after Katrina.
Yeah.
Lady Van Tassel's been like,
send it to Katrina.
You get Katrina's head. And she also has the horseman's head.
Yes.
She's like, a head for a head. You kill one more time and I'll give you your head.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Woo!
So on top of all of that, they're also trying to get the horseman's head, because they're like, oh, if we can get the head, then
we'll control.
Yeah. So they do finally, there's the showdown. Lady Van Tassel shoots Ichabod Crane, and you think he's dead, and he's not, because this book that Katrina had given him protects him, and
that book came in handy after all. Thanks, Katrina.
He beats Van Tassel to the skull, and that little boy knocked her the fuck out. He beat her with a tree branch.
He came in quite handy too, didn't he?
At the very end, and so we're getting to the
really
very
awesome.
end.
The Headless Horseman grabs Miss Van Tassel.
Well, Ichabod gives the horseman his head.
His head back, yeah. And he sticks it on. That's a really cool visual.
Yeah.
Him with the skull head.
All the ligaments are starting to
like muscle by muscle, layer piece by piece.
His eyeballs look so crazy, and it's basically it goes from a skeleton to Christopher Walken's face.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what, Katrina, you're good with me, bitch.
I don't like this bitch over here that's been controlling me.
I'm gonna pick her up, She's passed out.
give her a bite kiss from hell.
My teeth have to be sharpened, so
he like gives her this kiss, but you can tell he's biting her because all his blood starts coming out. And then here's that debate again. Do they jump or does the horse jump back into the tree and take them back into hell?
The horse is told to jump. Like, it's given the, like, signal to jump.
So let's just say they jump.
Yeah. They all jumped, all three of them, into the tree, taking all their bad attitudes with them.
Yeah, just like Sleepy Hollow did not need those shitty attitudes.
Yeah, they're going to have to change the name afterwards.
That's going to be like...
Full and happy. Or full and awake.
Yeah, I was going to say awoke and full. Yeah, awakeful. Awakeful. Oh my god, that's the name of it. Awakeful. Oh.
And it's the end of the movie, and Ichabod and Katrina and Mazbeth, they're like, we're getting the fuck out of Sleepy Hollow, and you're all coming with me,
like,
and we're gonna be one happy little family.
You, baby boy.
Yeah.
He's like, baby boy.
Baby boy who's like 14. We're gonna adopt you.
I'm gonna
and
be
Katrina,
your pappy.
you're gonna be my bitch. And
let's go to New York, guys.
And they show up in New York just in time for the New Year, so they can. It's the turn of the century.
Yeah. And she's all dressed up like Beetlejuice's wife.
Yeah, she's got that dress and it's striped black and white.
Which is a visual Tim Burton like.
Yes, he does. He's a like of that.
It's definitely a motif.
A motif?
A motif? A motif. Motif.
It's a motif.
We make up.
We gotta go because we're about to be there and we want to enjoy this shit without you guys.
Alright guys, but we're gonna go see Mr. Washington Irving himself.
Yes, and when we come back, we'll just do all that shit that we do. Okay, so see you later from your soul survivor and your final girl.
Bye!
Bye!
For now, for like 1 second. Alright, see you on the flip side. We're back. Well, how about that? Bixby, Oklahoma.
It was just the quaintest little park I've ever seen.
It was a nice park full of trees. It's an arboretum.
Yeah,
pretty tree park is basically.
Yeah, arbor.
Arbor.
It's a whole bunch of trees.
But it's dedicated, the whole park, with the name of Washington Irving Park, it's kind of dedicated to the man.
Yep, it's more than dedicated to the man. It is the man.
It is the man.
You're walking in and amongst Washington Irving.
Yes.
When you're there. I danced for
she got her twerk on.
Hot minute.
She did a traditional Halloween Washington Irving dance.
I did.
That's what we're calling it.
A monument of him.
Yep, in front of the man himself, like you said.
I put a presentation on.
There was a statue of him sitting with a little biography behind him.
Yeah.
There was lots of
an explanation of why I was all there.
Lots of memorials throughout. He had traveled, as we had said earlier, to this part of the country and met with the Native Americans, did some hunting, and saw the sights.
He saw a lot of things, and then he decided to write about them.
He wrote a book called On the Prairie.
A tour
on the
prairies.
And that was, written up in 1832.
Oh my God, you act like you just read a plaque that had all that information on it.
I wonder how I
How
found
did
all
you
that
notice?
out. Yeah. So it was kind of fun. It put me in the Halloween spirit.
Yes.
I've been in the Halloween spirit, but,
Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm like triple dog
dare you into the Halloween spirit?
I'm really into the Halloween spirit now.
The sprit?
The spread.
Well, let's jump into that Halloween spirit.
With Sleepy Hollow, written by Washington Irving.
Talk about some more Sleepy Hollow. Holla,
Sleepy Hollow.
I think we want to bring up a lot, right?
What did we want to bring up?
We wanted to bring, let's talk about music and Danny Elfman coming back at you, sidekick of Tim Burton,
Yep.
Like, the music puts you right in the mood.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Another collaboration with Danny Elfman, successfully. You know, the music's good. It's not my favorite Danny Elfman score, but I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It's good.
It puts you in the mood to get spooked.
The production design is awesome. It won the Oscar back in the day.
Really awesome. It looks real authentic. It's like they were there.
Well, I'm not sure if the Tim Burton style is
It's
authentic.
It looks like they're there.
Oh my god. You're crazy.
I'm just acting crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm delirious from walking amongst all those trees. Hard.
It got a little hot out there. I think she's...
I'm having a hot flash. Yes.
You're too
So
young
yeah,
for that.
the production was awesome.
The production design's great.
CGI was awesome.
Cinematography.
Loved it.
Like we mentioned earlier, lots of blues and steel grays and
steel gray.
Steel grays. Lots, very muted, very cold and autumnal.
Oh, autumnal. How autumnal.
If you got it, you gotta flaunt it, right?
That's right.
Autumnal.
We especially, I think, enjoyed the spinning heads that happened, and it was a lot to say for their animatronics that they were using.
I love a good spinning head.
Yeah. Heads will spin and heads will roll. And then heads will end up in a leather bag.
We took some fun selfies with Washington Irving's head today.
Yes.
Trying to get him in the picture with, the plaque in the background. Ended up being a challenge.
I know, it's like we might have entertained all of that for way too long. Tried a little too hard.
And we took pictures in his lap.
I gave him a proper lap dance. Just tried to get...
As did I.
Tried to shake what my mama gave
Two
me.
proper lap dances in the spirit of Halloween.
Yes, Halloween lap dance.
So, what would you say? Should we do favorite scenes?
Favorite scenes.
My favorite.
I love the church scene. It's chaos. Everybody's in there. They're all there, one, to point fingers at each other. So the hostility level's there. And Ichabod, he doesn't really know what to believe from all of the elder men that are just kind of like giving that case. And then also the sense of like the horseman's on its way and he's killed the Lady Van Tassel. Van Tassel. And then the deaths that are there, the doctor getting basically just pummeled in the head with a cross that they had taken down from the wall.
That's gnarly.
And the preacher guy being shot at, and then
a lot goes down in that scene.
Baltus was harpooned with the fence post because the horseman couldn't get in, and then he got his head stuck in the fence post and got it chopped off. It's all visually
lots of heads rolling.
Yeah, it's heads, blood everywhere, people running everywhere. Katrina's on the ground putting this big, witch's symbol. It's a lot. I love it. And it's all bundled up in a nice big bow.
I really like your choice.
Thanks. How about yourself?
You make a good choice. I really like, I guess, when the magistrate gets killed, it has my favorite head spinning.
Yes.
I like how the mood and the scare is set up with everything getting a little bit more intense as they're talking and discussing him leaving at night.
Yeah, he's revealing the meat of the story.
Yeah, you start seeing the fog rolling in, you start hearing things out in the fields, and then the music starts coming in, then lightning flashes, and then here comes the Headless Horseman himself, and first you think he's going after Ichabod.
Yeah.
Which, can I mention, I have to say, I kind of like the original story where Ichabod's a kooky teacher.
I know. I get what you're saying. I mean, in this one, he's a detective / science guy.
But really scared still of everything.
Yeah, very skittish.
But
It's how are you this guy who does autopsies all this time.
But you're scared of everything.
But then you're scared of, like, a head getting chopped off.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm trying not to judge.
But it's not what we're doing.
Oh. Well, then what the fuck?
But I really like that scene. I like how he charges past Ichabod, goes straight for the guy. Fucks that guy's head up.
He gets up.
And like I said, it gives the best little twirl. The most, like, delicate little...
Yep, just to spin right on the top. And how it plops into, like, Johnny Depp's lap.
Yes.
And it's like...
And then the horseman turns around and comes back.
Yes.
And you think, okay, now Ichabod's going to get in. Then he just gets the head.
Yeah, right in the crotch.
Right in between his crotch. That's where I wish my head was, in between
That
Ichabod
was-
Crane's crotch.
Right where I would want my head to be, you
Right
know?
between Johnny Depp.
I loved your choice, too. I love that
And there's
choice.
some good stuff, like there's that great scare with the witch. That's the best jump scare.
Yeah.
When she
And then-
reveals her face.
The stagecoach and the windmill, the end, it's all, you know, like...
Uh-huh.
It's good. The pays off.
Yeah, there's all kinds
I
of fun stuff.
I like
It's
me
one of those
likey.
that, you know, you gotta watch around Halloween time.
Yes.
But you know what? I still say I prefer the Disney animated Bing Crosby version.
Oh, yeah. The, like, cartoon, animated
It's
one.
almost just as scary.
Yeah, it's and the songs that are in it.
Uh-huh. Ichabod Crane.
Yeah, maybe I should watch
Bing
that
Crosby.
tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm going to.
Just watch that.
But I do like it. Don't get me wrong. I like it. It's one of the last good Tim Burton movies.
I know.
Sorry.
Before he kind of went like.
I would say that and Sweeney Todd are kind of his last really great movies. Big Fish in there's good, but it's not in the same kind of like, you know, horror world as Sweeney Todd and a lot of Tim Burton movies.
Yeah. It's just not as weird.
Uh-huh.
I get you.
I mean, it's got some big fish, but...
Yeah, I mean, there were a few big fish in that movie.
So, I respect it for that.
I agree. I agree. So, are you kind of revving us up to give our knives? Is that what you're heading towards by saying
A
this?
knife rating.
A knife rating.
How does that
for you,
work?
sir?
1 through 5 knives? 5 being the best?
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, how many are you going to give it?
I'm kind of on the fence. I think I'm going to go with... Oh, goodness, because I really like it, but then I was just sitting here pointing out all the things I didn't like. I'm going to go 3.5.
Okay, well, that's exactly what I was going to choose, was 3.5.
Well, good.
It's a great Halloween movie to watch, and it gets you in the mood, but it could be scarier. It is rated R. It could be bloodier. It could just be a little bit more mean.
It could be, yeah, like you said, more bloody. Could be a little bit more intense
he
and
is
hard.
like
but,
this
you know,
Hessian horseman come from the grave. Why isn't he just like slicing and dicing these bitches
I
up?
have a feeling, too, this is 1999. The MPAA was probably more strict back then with what you could get away with for even an R rating.
And they
So
were
there was already a lot of heads getting chopped off, so maybe
Yeah.
they thought adding too much blood to go along with it wouldn't pass. I mean, this is pre-Game of Thrones, you know, we've seen a lot more in the days since Sleepy Hollow came out, but yeah, that would be one of my only things is, maybe a little bit more gore, make him a school teacher again. I'm like, rewrite it for me.
Yeah, I think the story could have been just exactly.
It
if
gets
there
a
would have been
little
maybe a
convoluted with all like the archers and the Van Garretts and the Van Tassels
yeah, it's like I'm having to keep up with the family tree while I'm trying to be scared.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm getting a little tired.
It could just been a little bit more simple.
Yeah.
In some ways.
The Pickety Witch, you
The
know?
Pickety Witch.
And then Christina Ricci comes out, she's like, the Pickety Witch.
Yeah, I can't stand her accent. She's kind of a distraction. And I love Christina Ricci. Don't get mad, people. I do like her a lot. Just something about her accent.
That
Or that's Tim
performance.
Burton's fault. He could have been like, okay, we're going to nix that, Christina.
Oh, yeah.
Not working, after day one. Just be like, we're gonna.
Or he totally liked it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's what maybe he was going for. I don't know. Maybe we just didn't like it on that level. It's cool. But we definitely appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a Halloween classic.
That's
now.
why we chose it for the Halloween
Yeah.
episode, because it's a Halloween classic.
Classic. We've used that word a lot today. That's the word of the day.
The word of the, at
Classic.
the end of our podcast, should
Yeah.
we start doing a word of the day?
The word of the day was
Oh.
classic today.
Well, thanks so much for listening to ours.
Yeah, we hope you guys
Summation
have a
of
happy
Sleepy
Halloween,
Hollow.
or if you're listening to this, just have a happy day. If it's-
Yeah, well, let's talk about what's coming up next for us on Scream Queens.
Well, in November, we're going to head down, do a little day trip to Dallas, and we're going to go visit the grassy knoll and see where JFK was assassinated.
Yes, it's just going to be just a frolic in a park.
It's going to be so lighthearted.
Yes.
And
It's almost like we're going on a Disney vacation.
it's not going to be
But
somber.
we're going to where a president was assassinated.
Yeah. Well, we thought the movie that should go with that is David Cronenberg's Dead Zone.
Dead Zone.
Which has a lot to do with political assassinations and telekinesis and
It's Stephen King.
Stephen King.
It's your
David
mom.
Cronenberg, like I said.
Oh wait, it's not your mom. Your mom is not
No,
in
my
it.
mom's not Stephen King anymore. She gave
That's
that up.
tragic. Okay, so yeah, we're totally gonna do that next month. Going to Dallas,
Woohoo!
and we just appreciate you guys listening. Go to screamqueenspodcast.com.
We appreciate you. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all the places, you know.
Everywhere you can.
But
and
more
like
importantly,
it, share it.
Go to screamqueenpodcast.com. Check out our blogs.
Yeah.
Check out our photos.
You know you want to see it.
Leave some comments. You know,
We want to
what
interact.
else?
Let's get together, friends.
Let's get together.
And I hope everybody has a happy, spooky Halloween
Ooh,
from your Scream
spooky.
Queens.
We love you. Bye.